Welcome to Confused Reviews, where a cartoon drawing reviews movies, and after taking a look at the fourth Friday the 13th movie, I figured it'd only be fitting to tackle the second entry in what fans call the Jarvis Trilogy, otherwise known as Friday the 13th Part 5, A New Beginning.
Luke, don't tell me you're thinking of reviewing the fifth Friday movie.
Fedora? I am going to do it, but what are you doing here?
Yeah, I'm here to stop you before it's too late.
Stop me from what? Saying that the movie isn't that bad? I mean, it's not great by any means, but people do kind of treat it unfairly.
Exactly! It's a pile of shit, and I'm gonna tell you why.
So, we're gonna review it together?
Yeah, why not?
Man, I'm having flashbacks to when I did the same sort of thing with Carter Smith last season.
Yeah, we all sit in a room waiting for you to say an unpopular opinion, and then we come in and stop you.
Really?
No, that's stupid.
Right. Let's get into it. A mere 1 year after the final chapter in 1985, we got another entry in the enormous Friday the 13th franchise, so it was pretty obvious the series wasn't going anywhere anytime soon. They decided and intended to keep it going, but with a twist in the sequel.
And 99% of the population already knows what the big spoiler is.
Yeah, we'll get to that. Anyways, the story this time around tells the story of Tommy Jarvis, now a teenager who looks 35, and who has also been institutionalized after the events of the fourth film's climax, which, watching these movies back to back, it makes sense. He does get traumatized pretty fucking hard.
But suddenly a new killer emerges. Can it be Jason, or someone more sinister? Or someone more stupid, to be frank?
So let's dive into this movie and see if it's really as bad as everyone says, or maybe it has a little good in it. This is Friday the 13th, Part 5, A New Beginning. So the film begins with young Tommy Jarvis, played in this scene only by Corey Feldman, wearing Georgie's raincoat and visiting Jason's grave.
It's a shame Corey Feldman's acting career took off with such spectacles as the Lost Boys sequels and 6 Degrees of Hell, because we won't be seeing him returning as our protagonist.
He hears voices and quickly hides just to see 2 idiots digging up Jason's grave.
So basically it's the bad version of Jason Lives, before the good version of Jason Lives. Which was Jason Lives.
Yeah, pretty much.
And as expected, Jason pounces back to life and kills the 2 idiots.
He gets up and walks towards Tommy ever so slowly, and just before Jason makes contact, he wakes up, revealing that he's now a 30-year-old teenager played by John Shepard.
After the opening credits, we cut over to the Pinehurst Youth Development Center, and we meet up with Pam, played by Melanie Kinnaman, and eventually Matt, played by Richard Young.
Matt explains the rules of the establishment, as Tommy does absolutely nothing. Anyways, he quickly leaves, and Matt tells the audience that Tommy is really fucked up after killing Jason in the final chapter.
Which, judging by his outburst at the end of the movie, it's not a surprise.
We see a picture of Tommy's mom and sister, who are never mentioned again, and Trish just doesn't exist anymore.
Tommy is shown to have a knife, which is definitely the tool he needs to have in his possession at this point.
He is quickly scared by a spider, so we can meet Reggie the Reckless, played by Shavar Ross, and Tommy soon retaliates with the classic rubber mask scare.
But seeing that people are going to start dying soon, we need to introduce everyone. So the cops arrive, and everyone shuffles outside.
I got this.
You sure?
Yeah. We meet Reggie's grandpa George, played by Vernon Washington, Sheriff Tucker, played by Marco St. John, Violet, played by Tiffany Helm, Jake, played by Jerry Padlin, and the teens in the back of the cruiser, Tina and Eddie, played by Deborah Voorhees and John Robert Dixon.
Haha, her last name is Voorhees.
Wait, still not done. There's Ethel, played by Carol Lochtell, and Junior, played by Rob Sloan, and they're
idiots.
Yeah, they're complete morons.
At least Ethel says this golden gem.
Would you shut the fuck up?
And just when you thought I was done naming off people, we cut over to Vic, played by Mark Venturini, who is chopping wood nearby Joey, played by Dominic Brasca, who is going to die soon, and Robin, played by Juliette Cummings, who is helping Violet with laundry.
Damn, there's a lot of fucking characters.
And there's still more later on. Anyways, Joey tries to help the girls with laundry, but he gets chocolate all over it. Oh man, I feel bad for him. He's just trying to help and everyone's being an asshole.
Yeah, people suck.
He takes his kindness over to Vic, who he starts venting to, but Vic isn't in the chatting kind of mood.
Leave me alone!
Joey offers a chocolate bar to Vic, who politely declines, and Joey gives him a piece of his mind.
Forget it, Vic. Just forget it. But I think you're really out of line.
And instead of telling Joey to fuck off like a normal person, he decides killing the poor bastard is the best course of action. Unfortunately, it's entirely off screen, and instead we get a bunch of reaction shots.
The cops return and arrest Vic, and we also see Roy Burns, played by Dick Wyland, is also on the scene.
Any specific reason you mentioned Roy?
Nope, none at all.
Yep, no reason.
We then bounce over to two new characters who are having car troubles.
I'm not even going to bother saying their names because one is already killed with a road flare and the other is killed in a really disappointing way.
Damn, that's 3 kills in less than half an hour.
5 if you count those 2 asshats in the beginning.
I don't.
Yeah, me neither. We cut over to breakfast and see that nobody really has a real problem, maybe just a bit of awkwardness, but honestly they're like all the other disposable teens from this series.
Shh, no time for that. Tommy's got to attack someone.
Nice. We cut back to Ethel, who...
I'm gonna chop you into itty bitty little pieces, my friend.
...is crazier than any of the fuckers in the nut house next door, and we see that there's kind of a semi-important mystery guy.
Moving away from that, we cut over to the scene of the 2 recently deceased greasers. And...
You talking to me, Sheriff? Huh? Oh, I thought you was talking to me.
I'm gonna be important later. Remember me. I'm Roy. I'm important.
We then randomly cut over to some completely pointless scene, but it does include John Waters' lookalike, and 1 or 2 big things.
Oh, and he gets an axe to the back of the head, and she also gets axed.
And Tommy's back on those good old hallucinogens.
Moving away from that, we find out this crucial bit of information.
Jason Voorhees is dead. His body was cremated. He's nothing but a handful of ash.
What?
What if I told you he wasn't?
Yeah, being that he immediately comes back in part 6.
I love this movie's vague attempts to move away from Jason. It's funny.
The 2 teens in the back of the cop car from earlier run off again to do what this series does best. Have obvious adults pose as teens, fuck, and then die.
Creepy Uncle White Van here spots the 2, and just creepily stares, and then he dies.
The 2 finish, and the girl is soon killed by hedge clippers, and the guy receives an extremely painful death.
Okay, that death was pretty awesome.
Yeah, it was, even if the leather would have broken before he died, but whatever.
Since, sure, this movie can use a few more characters, Reggie is taken downtown, as well as Pam and Tommy.
And we meet one of the best characters in the series, Demon, played by Miguel A. Nunez Jr.
Hey, you heading to dinner? Yeah, have enchilada.
I sure hope those don't backfire on him later.
In what's probably my favorite part of the movie, Demon and Reggie just chat back and forth like real siblings would, and it's really good.
Yeah, Miguel is probably the best actor in the movie, if you ask me.
I know what you want. Want a beer?
Yeah, I'll take
Get out of here.
I agree. He's pretty fucking awesome.
The movie then turns into Roadhouse as Tommy and Junior have a fight, but it soon ends and Tommy runs off. Then Pam and Reggie head back to the loony bin.
Demon then runs to the bathroom because of...
Some damn enchiladas.
And in what's one of my favorite moments in the series, Demon's girl is shaking the bathroom. He then starts singing, and the shitter starts shaking again, and then he dies.
No!
Those damn enchiladas.
Back with Junior and Ethel. Well, they're both killed.
Thank God, I thought they'd never shut up.
Back at the house, the teens are getting into their fuck whoever is still alive phase.
I wanna make love with you.
I don't care.
He takes the rejection pretty well.
I said I didn't mean it.
Unfortunately, he doesn't get lucky, because he dies instead.
Come on, man, you're supposed to kill them after they get laid. Have a little decency.
Robin heads upstairs, and what else do you expect? She's killed.
That looks strangely familiar to the kill from the last film.
Anyways, in the next room, Violet is doing some weird dance moves to some awesome music, and...
She's killed.
yeah, she's killed.
Man, a lot of people die in this horror movie.
I know, there's so many, it's so hard to keep up with them all.
Reggie then wakes up so he can go out and find the conveniently placed pile of bodies.
He's jump scared by Pam, and they run downstairs, only for Reggie to turn into the dumbass white girl in every horror movie and fall down.
Giving Roy, Jason, ample time to burst through the door, finally revealing his look.
Yeah, it only took an hour and 10 minutes.
The two escape and find the ambulance with another corpse inside.
Oh, and the killer is magically there too. Weird.
Reggie runs off just for Pam to find Matt's body.
Oh no, I'm so sad to see him die, oh no. Eventually Pam makes it back to the house and finds another body.
What was his name? Like Gerald? Gary?
George, I think?
Oh yeah, she escapes into the house again just to flop around for a bit and have Jason catch her in a matter of seconds.
But Reggie, driving a tractor, runs up and slams into Jason. Okay, I might be blowing the surprise for all three people who already didn't know this, but Jason isn't the killer in this movie. So him getting hit by a tractor would have definitely injured him beyond repair. There wouldn't have been him getting up and going on to the third act. He would have been fucking dead. Or at least have a bunch of broken ribs and not be able to run around a bunch more.
And instead of running out there, they do the same dumb shit by walking really slowly up to the not dead body and let it attack them.
Similar to the ending of part 3, our heroes escape to a barn as the killer slowly walks around.
And then, similar to part 2, the end girl fights Jason with a chainsaw.
Their victory is short-lived, however, as the chainsaw dies, and Tommy finally shows up.
Thinking this is one of his fantasies, he just lets the killer slice him up.
Realizing this one isn't an illusion, Tommy stabs the guy in the leg and escapes up the ladder.
He takes his time trying to find them, as Pam and Jay go back and forth until...
Reggie jumps onto him and makes him fly off the barn.
Well, no, as one last-ditch effort, he grabs Reggie's leg.
And Tommy responds just in time to save the day.
And on the ground, we find out the man behind the mask was Zombie Ben Willis! I mean Roy Burns.
That's right, he was the killer the whole time.
Which is weird, because he was strangely efficient at taking out those teens.
Sheriff Tucker then explains to the audience that Joey was Roy's son, even though he was said to be an orphan. Anyways, the whole idea was to mask the killings as Jason's doing. But why kill the greasers? And the two people at the diner? Or the redneck? Or the homeless guy? Or pretty much anyone, really. You just needed to kill Vic, and then everything would have been fine.
We then see Tommy is safe and sound, and as Pam goes to check on him, he fucking stabs her!
Well, no, it was all a dream, and our tale comes to a close with...
another tease to Tommy being the killer in the next one. Which doesn't happen.
And that was Friday the 13th, Part 5, A New Beginning, and it was okay. To start off with the good, John Shepard, Miguel A. Nunez Jr., and Shavar Ross are all great as their respected characters, and are some of my favorites of the series.
The concept itself was done rather well, and it is a lot like the original movie. A parent is seeking revenge for the death of their child, and take it out on a group of horny teens.
And in a sense, they did lead up to Roy's reveal a bit better than Pamela's, because, well, in layman's terms, he was in the fucking movie before his reveal.
But the movie suffers from the mostly off-screen kills and the very by-the-numbers ones. There isn't one standout kill besides the belt around the tree.
Plus, the enormous body count means very little time was spent developing any characters before they were slaughtered besides, well, Tommy and Reggie.
Overall, I suppose this movie is good in some regard, but has a lot of things wrong with it, and it's a very mixed bag.
It also unfortunately suffers from what I like to call the Halloween 3 effect, where people hate it solely based on the fact that Jason isn't the killer, even though there is a high-regarded entry also without Jason as the killer. You know, the original.
And I can't say I honestly hate the movie. It's just not my go-to in the franchise.
I'm going to give Friday the 13th Part 5 A New Beginning a B-, because it has some good things, some bad things, and a lot of enchiladas. I think it's underrated in a sense, and still is a kick-ass time, but not the best in the series.
I'd have to agree, but I am glad they brought Jason back.
Me too. He's fucking awesome.
Oh yeah, I forgot to mention, you might want to be careful. I hear Jason's coming back for you.
What do you mean? I killed him in the last episode.
Do you really think he's dead?
Oh shit. You're right.
Be careful, man.
Yeah, I've gotta go. Thanks for doing this, Fedora.
Anytime. See ya.
Oh man, this was an interesting review. I'm Confused Reviews. Thanks for watching.